So, it's time to learn the Passé Composé. I like to think of it as the compound past. It's composed of two parts, and it moves verbs into the past tense. Here we have to remember that in French, the simple past and the Passé Composé are almost interchangeable. And if you don't know what I mean, you should probably watch this short introduction video first. So now that we know when to use it, let's see how to form it. We start with a conjugated auxiliary, or helping verb, then add what's known as the past participle. There are only two possible helping verbs in the Passé Composé, avoir and être. So make sure that you've memorized these conjugations. Depending on the auxiliary verb, different rules are followed. We'll be working with avoir since A, almost all verbs use it, and B, it's actually the simpler of the two rule-wise. So all that's left is this past participle. In order to form that, you change the infinitive endings as follows. Drop ER endings and give those an E accent aigu instead. That means that from left to right, the accent goes up, not down. Drop the IR from those infinitives and use I. RE verbs will get just a U. These rules just have to be memorized, and let's be honest, it's not too much to handle. ER, E, IR, E, and RE, U. For example, the past participle of regarder, to watch, is regarder, watched. Pronounced the same, but the ending changed. The past participle of réussir is réussi. And for an RE verb, the past participle of défendre is défendu. So, how about some examples in real sentences? In order to do that, it's time to bring back the first part of the Passé Composé, the auxiliary verb avoir, and then we'll add our newly learned participles, e, I, and u. So, to say I loved that movie would be j'ai aimé ce film. We have the je form of avoir for I and an I accent aigu for the past participle, e. Let's keep that verb but change the subject. My brother loved that movie, not I. In this case, mon frère a aimé ce film has changed conjugation of avoir since the subject is now il, mon frère, not je, I. But the past participle is still the same. So, same verb, plural subject this time, and let's add a negation to make things interesting. Mes amis n'ont pas aimé ce film. Here we have avoir matching il and elle plural, but the past participle doesn't change. Note how the ne pas sandwich goes around the auxiliary verb, but not the participle. So now let's change the verb. Remplir means to fill, and rempli is the past participle. To say we filled the glass, we have nous avons rempli le verre. Avons matches nous for the avoir conjugation, and we add the participle as usual. Let's change the subject, but keep the verb. You filled the glass becomes tu as rempli le verre, since a is the correct to-form conjugation of avoir and the past participle is already formed. So how about a new verb? Fondre. It's an RE verb. The snow melted in the sun would be la neige a fondu au soleil. The subject is la neige, third person singular, and we have a U for the past participle since fondre is an RE verb. Of course, it wouldn't be French without a handful of participles that don't follow any rules. So, the past participle of être is été. J'ai été honnête avec toi. I was honest with you. For avoir, it's eu. Elles ont eu un accident. They had an accident. Prendre takes pris. Nous avons pris 2 pommes. We took 2 apples. And words that end in prendre work the same way. So, surprendre becomes surpris. Faire takes fait. On a fait nos devoirs. We did our homework. Dire takes dit. Je t'ai déjà dit. I told you already. Notice the adverb déjà, already, comes between the helping verb and the past participle. Devoir takes dû. Vous avez dû entendre dire. You must have heard it said. Boire gets bu. J'ai tout bu. I drank everything. And lire is lu. Elle a lu plusieurs livres. She read several books. Continuing, voir becomes vu. Tu as vu le spectacle. You saw the show. And plaire is plu. Ça t'a plu? Did you like it? Or literally, did it please you? Connaître becomes connu. Elle a connu son mari à 16 ans. She met her husband at 16. Recevoir becomes reçu. J'ai reçu ta lettre. Merci. I received your letter. Thanks. Vouloir is voulu. Il a voulu faire un bon geste. He wanted to make a nice gesture. Pleuvoir becomes plu. Tout est mouillé. Il a plu hier. Everything is wet. It rained yesterday. Couvrir becomes couvert, and like prendre, this participle works for all words that end in couvrir. So découvrir means to discover, and it takes the same participle. J'ai découvert ton secret means I discovered your secret. Écrire becomes écrit. Elle a écrit un roman. She wrote a novel. Conduire becomes conduit. Nous avons conduit pendant 3 heures. We drove for 3 hours. Mettre becomes mis. Tu as mis les assiettes sur la table. You put the plates on the table. Before we go, here's a quick shout out to the University of Texas. Their liberal arts webpage makes it so that we can see all of their irregular past participles just by Googling that term and the word French. Because, hey, no one memorizes all of these on the first try. So that's it. You've learned about the Passé Composé using avoir as the helping verb. If you haven't memorized avoir yet, you can learn it through song with study tunes. And of course, you can always find more resources and videos like this one at lingolearner.com.